This program is made by MPT to enrich the diverse communities throughout our state and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you.
It is a big sports week here on Maryland Public Television. We are just 3 days away from starting 4 straight days of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fairhill coverage. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Hunter, and welcome in to the MPT Sports Desk. Tonight, we're going to get you ready for all the excitement at the Fairhill Event Zone in Cecil County, from dressage and cross country to show jumping, and of course, the very popular Corgi Cup. Now to shed more light on the activities around the Mars Maryland 5-Star, we're going to check in with the president and CEO, Jeff Newman. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's always a pleasure. Now, this event, it's very big. In fact, it's only one of 2 of the 5-star equestrian levels in the United States. Tell us about that and how fortunate it is to be in Cecil County.
Yeah, Maryland's really lucky to have it, as well as Cecil County, because there's only 7 of these in the world. We became the 7th when Maryland won the bid to host a 5-star level event in the sport of eventing back in 2019. So through all the work that was done at the Fairhill Special Event Zone, as well as the history of the horse industry here in Maryland, all those factors combined to enable us to win the bid, and now we're in our 4th edition.
Now, why is the sport of eventing the ultimate test of both the horse and the rider?
Well, the sport actually originated from a cavalry test to really get horses and riders ready for battle. And then it subsequently turned into an Olympic sport, and now it's on the worldwide stage. So it really tests the skills of horse and riders to become one. So you have the dressage phase, which is basically like figure skating for horses, judged on technical merit, and then you have the cross country to really showcase endurance, agility, and then it culminates with show jumping, again, so that it really gets the horses and the riders together to be as one, so that they could be ready for battle in the past, but now it's a sport. So it's pretty exciting. It's like the Ironman competition for horses, and so if you've never seen it before, it's really something else.
Now, you brought up the Olympics. I understand some eventers who took part in the 2024 Summer Olympics will be participating at Fairhill. Can you talk about that?
That's right. So as an international event that brings athletes from all over the world, we'll have many of the Olympic riders participating in the 5-star. I mean, barring their horses healthy, they'll be participating. So that's one of the benefits of being an Olympic sport, is you have the ability to then showcase those Olympic athletes at your event. And what's even more unique is that we have men and women competing together as equals on the same stage. So you'll see both men and women Olympic athletes competing together.
How does that enhance the event at Fairhill, having Olympians?
Just legitimizes, sort of the worldwide popularity of the sport by being an Olympic sport and discipline. And I think, at this past Paris Olympics, it was really a highlight. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous, the course, the facility, and I think it got some great coverage by a lot of the commentators, and certainly was in a great time zone when they were showing the eventing competition. So it just helps us to promote the event by having Olympic athletes and by giving the opportunity for people to see what the sport is at the Olympics, and then hopefully they'll want to come to the event.
Now, last year I was there. Austin O'Connor made history. He won, and it was Ireland's first 5-star victory in 58 years. What does that mean for this year? Is it wide open?
Well, it's always wide open, and those are the stories that you hope take place and happen from an event. You hope that it's going to resonate, and you create these storylines that make your event different. And so to have an Irish winner for the first time in 58 years win the event, it just made Maryland worldwide news, especially in Ireland. So, one of the goals of the event is always to create exposure for the state, what Cecil County has to offer to an international audience. And whenever you have an athlete from another country actually perform well, it just becomes an infomercial for Maryland and Cecil County. So those are definitely the stories that we always hope for. And The first year of the event, we had Boyd Martin win, and he was, the first American to win in close to 15 years. So we've been lucky to have some really good storylines. The second year, we had Tim Price, who was world #1, win the event. So, hopefully that trend continues.
Now, this 2024 edition will also feature a 3-star competition. Talk about the Rising Equine Stars.
So we wanted to have the event showcase the different levels. I sort of compare it to like Major League Baseball, where you have, the professional level, and then you have AAA and AA and single A. So the 3-star I would sort of equate to AA. And so it provides another level of competition to showcase that hopefully those horses and riders could then become 5-star participants. And then the Young Event Horse Competition, we actually host the United States Eventing Association's East Coast Championships. And these are 4- and 5-year-old horses that people are looking to see what type of potential they have to eventually become, hopefully, a 5-star rider. So you could see all the different levels at our event. And, what it also creates is just a lot of horses around. So if you come to the event, it's really a sight to see.
Can you talk about some of the other fun events for families at the event?
Sure, we have something for everyone. I think each day we're featuring a different special event. So we have a Maryland Fresh Food Fest that's on the Sunday of our event, along with, of course, as you mentioned earlier, the Maryland Corgi Cup, which has become unbelievably popular in itself. So we have 125 corgis lined up with a waiting list on Sunday. And then we also have on Saturday, we have tailgating, we have a beer, wine, and spirits festival. We also have a dog rescue parade. So there's all different types of things that people can do, but one of the best highlights of the event is you can do your shopping. We have over 100 retailers out there offering all kinds of products and services. So if you want to just get your holiday shopping in, you can come to our event and you'll find a wide variety of offerings. So we have something for everyone. And lastly, you can bring your dog. So the whole family's welcome, and very dog-friendly event. And we'll also have pony racing. So lots going on.
All right, before we let you go, tell us about the Kids Corner. Very popular.
Sure. So we wanted to make sure, again, that, the adults had a chance to enjoy themselves throughout the day. So we have a Kids Corner that you can just leave your kids there. And we have Great Wolf Lodge, who's bringing out a lot of activities. We have Milburn Orchards, who's nearby, bringing out a lot of interactive displays. We also have the YMCA that will be bringing some activities there too. So you could just leave your children there and they'll have a fantastic time while you enjoy either shopping or eventing or all the other things that we have to offer.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to a big 4 days later on this week, and go get them.
Yeah, please come out. It's beautiful fall weather, and it's just a sight to see. So we welcome everybody to Cecil County and Fair Hill. So thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
And coming up later, we'll talk to the executive director of the Maryland Sports Commission. But right now, we're going to learn more about horses, specifically what they wear on their feet. MPT's Charles Robinson tells us all about reshoeing, the process that involves a farrier removing old shoes and fitting new ones.
Quilty is getting a makeover by Sarah Snyder. The filing of her outer hoof is just part of the pampering. These days, to be called a blacksmith is just one of the things Sarah does for horses.
The basic way to explain the difference between a blacksmith and a farrier is a blacksmith is primarily metalwork, where a farrier can also do the metalwork and shoe horses.
So here at the Days Inn Farm, the farriers come every other week to put new shoes on horses. Snyder and Sean Luce are pros. They bring their work skills and knowledge, which is contained in their trailer. To get it right for the horses, we'll walk you through the process of removing and replacing horseshoes.
When we're starting off with a horse that already has a shoe on, I'll loosen the shoe up, and if I can't grab it, I'll take a creased nail puller, and this takes out individual nails. Then we clean out the debris on the horse's foot with a hoof pick.
There could be as many as 60 horses on the Days Inn Farm Horse Rescue. They rotate the herd, clipping, shaping, and finding the right fit for horses. The pair of farriers have a passion. If the horses could talk, they would appreciate the individualized care.
And joining us now is Savannah Fulton, a world-class equestrian and five-star athlete. Savannah, what's it like to compete in an event like the five-star?
A little bit. It's out of this world. I'm lucky enough that I'm a native Marylander, and so I've been able to see the facility at Fair Hill, grow over the years, over my lifetime. And I will say they go completely all out, above and beyond, to make the facility world-class. So many amenities for the competitors, so many amenities for the spectators. I'm a little bit biased, but I don't think there's anywhere prettier in the world than Fair Hill mid-October. And so it's a really special venue, and it's really special that it's in Maryland. And I couldn't be prouder as a Marylander to have such a big, prestigious competition in our backyard.
Now, we know the dressage event may look calm and composed, but how do you achieve that perfect harmony with your horse?
I'm still trying to figure that out. It's lifelong, and it's just like with people, working on communication is an everyday, all day type of training. Little bit, day by day, just to make that communication and that trust and that relaxation in such a big atmosphere so consistent. And the thing is, you have to remember the horse is so fit to be able to go run in the endurance portion, the next day on Saturday. So there's so much energy just sort of balanced underneath of you, which is an extra component of difficulty.
Now let's switch to cross country and that nearly 4-mile course full of massive, challenging obstacles. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a true endurance test. Not only are the fences big, but the terrain plays a huge part in it, and especially there at that Fair Hill venue, the hills are intense. So you need a very fit horse, a horse that really wants to try for you. It being an Ian Stark course, Ian is one of the best in the world, and having ridden around a lot of his courses, they are some of the most fun and scary to look at, but there's a lot of sort of rider frighteners. But the horses read all of his questions really well, and it's really fair and just sort of presented, but you really have to attack. And it's a big, bold, challenging course every time.
Now, one of the events that is a lot of fun to watch is the show jumping. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the show jumping, after you had sort of the ballet, the dancing portion on the first day in the dressage, then you have the cross country, and then the show jumping is really all about, okay, can your horse recover from that grueling test the day before, and can they be sharp enough to jump over the poles? The poles fall down at just a little bit of a push. They come down, and the penalties really stack up. So you're looking for a clean, fast round over the fences, but you have to keep them up.
Now, you mentioned the horses are very calm. What about the rider?
Yeah, I think, everyone is an individual, but the top riders and the top competitors, they have nerves of steel and ice running through their veins. But it's definitely tougher, and you'll see in the competition, the higher placed riders go last. So that adds another level of, nerves to the whole thing. It makes it really fun to watch, but it can make it not so fun to be in first place, going into the big packed stadium with everyone watching and, your fellow competitors cheering you on, but also maybe hoping that you have a rail so that they can move up in the placing.
Well, Savannah, thank you so much for your expertise. We appreciate it, and we're looking forward to a big event later this week.
Look forward to seeing everyone there.
We want all of our viewers to have a full understanding of how the event works, so let's break it down. The competition tests both the overall ability of the horse and the skill and judgment of the rider. Now, the first phase is dressage, which shows the relationship between horse and rider with an emphasis on obedience and harmony. Now, phase 2 is the cross-country event. It's a nearly 4-mile test of endurance with almost 50 jumps. And the final phase is jumping, where penalties are incurred for knocking down a jump, failing to jump, or exceeding the time limit. The horse and rider with the least number of combined penalties over the 3 days is the winner. We are joined now by the Executive Director of the Maryland Sports Commission, Terry Hasseltine. Now, Terry, the state's horse industry has a big economic impact of more than $2.9 billion. Can you break down what this means for the Maryland economy?
Well, anytime you get to host an event of this magnitude in connection with the equine industry. It's bringing tremendous resources to the equestrian sport. It's also bringing a profile of visitation from people from all over the globe. Hosting the Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill is an added perspective of about $13 million into the Maryland's economy, through a 4-day event up in Cecil County, Maryland.
Now, what about the economic impact in Cecil County where the event is held?
Well, you're talking about now with the Great Wolf Lodge open, you're talking a facility that was built for this purpose. You're talking about millions and millions of dollars each year being pumped into the Maryland economy into Cecil County because of the 5-Star being hosted there in October.
Is there any way for you to know how many people actually come into the state for the event?
We do. We've been doing analysis over the last 3 years, going into our 4th year of this event, dealing with seeing the number of people. Basically, about 60+% of the people that come into the Maryland 5-Star are not from Maryland.
Now, what are some of the long-term benefits beyond the event's 4 days?
Well, it's one, we're adding to the profile of the equestrian sports industry in the state of Maryland. You're talking about people who come in who are CEOs and or high, senior leaders, in the corporate marketplace, seeing Maryland sometimes for the first time, and a chance for us to really showcase that Maryland has a can-do and can get it done attitude when it comes to putting on big profile events. And some people, might choose to live here. They might choose to vacation here. And so it just adds to the profile that Maryland is a great place to visit and it's a great place to live.
Now, tell us about Maryland's reputation as a hub for equestrian sports, not only in Maryland, but in the United States.
Domestically, it's second to none. I mean, obviously, between what we do in Maryland and the Maryland 5-Star, there's only one other 5-Star in the United States, and that's in Kentucky. So when it's about growing the growth of the sport, Maryland's at the forefront of creating opportunities in the equestrian eventing space, and therefore other events are starting to identify Maryland as a place to bring their business, whether that's equestrian or other sports. But this is really a tentpole event for the state of Maryland. We're really excited about the opportunity, and it allows us to brag and boast that we're the best equestrian state in the country.
Now, Maryland is obviously horse country, so this is a perfect fit, isn't it?
Absolutely. You can't get better than this.
Now, as far as the event goes, last year the winner came from Ireland. First time ever a rider from Ireland won the event. Yep. And we were there on the final day when he won. It was so exciting. What are you anticipating for this year?
Well, we obviously are looking for a great field of competitors, both at the 5-Star level. Then we also host the young event and the 3-Star national championship. So our whole goal right now is to make sure that the athletes, the spectators, and everybody who comes out to Fair Hill just has a world-class experience and leaves just so happy that they want to come back year in and year out. So, yeah, I think you're going to see some really good competition on the course, whether that's cross-country, dressage, or show jumping. But I think we have a great field, and I think people will be really impressed with what they see.
Of the cross-country, the dressage, and the show jumping, what do the fans enjoy the most?
The biggest day of the event is really cross-country day. That's where we're getting the biggest audience. It's 4+ miles of great terrain. It's almost like a golf event. You pick your hole, and you pick your jump in this case, and you watch these really elite athletes do things that you and I wouldn't even think about doing. And they're doing it on an animal, a beautiful animal, by the way. And they're doing it and showcasing the skill and the athleticism, of a rider and a horse, competing as one entity. It's super spectacular. But cross country is usually the day that most of our audience comes out, followed by show jumping and then dressage.
Well, Terry, we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to a big event later on this week. We appreciate you joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Executive Director of the Maryland Sports Commission, Terry Hasseltine. Now let's talk about the cutest race on 4 legs. MPT's Nancy Yamada with a preview of the Corgi Cup.
This is Stanley, and he is going to be 5 years old in a couple weeks.
Stanley and his sister Annie will be among the Corgi competitors who will be running, racing, and entertaining the crowds in the 3rd annual Maryland 5-Star Corgi Cup.
It's a lot of fun, very chaotic. This year we have 125 racing.
Organizer Karen Bowersock says the event gets bigger every year, which makes me wonder, are corgis super athletic? Are they natural competitors?
No, not at all. Their breed is for herding, and it's just funny because they have little tiny legs and big attitudes.
Which leads to some interesting, downright hilarious races.
We've had some not leave the start. We've had some that got halfway and decided to turn around, and then some that just cross the finish and then you can't catch them.
The dogs race the 150 feet by age group. After qualifying rounds, the top two go to the championship, where the winner will go home with more than an attaboy.
They get a cooler that resembles what the horses win at the 5-star. It's like a little blanket, and we have ribbons, and local sponsors will donate prizes as well.
Besides a fun sideshow from the main event, the 5-star Corgi Cup is a great way to promote a breed that has enthralled dog owners for more than 3,000 years.
They're great family dogs. They really do want to please you, and they're just a lot of fun, and just, you know, makes you smile when you see them because they always have like a smile on their face.
And we invite you to look for the Corgi race coming up this Sunday. Now back to the cross-country course. We're joined now by Tyson Rementer, the course design builder. Now, Tyson, thanks for your time. And how do you make the course designer's vision a reality?
Yeah, it's a long process. Thanks for having me. We begin all the way back as soon as the last event ends, this event begins. We start planning for the 2024 event back in October of 2023. And I'm standing in front of a few fences that we've modified, changed this year a little bit from the course that you would have seen in 2023. The familiar roller coaster fences are behind me, and the great big Fair Hill drop I'm standing in front of. We've rearranged the fences on the landing here. We've made a lot of adjustments to it. I'm in the process right now of working with the course designer, Ian Stark, getting everything in place for 2024, and it's looking great.
Tyson, tell us about all the changes you've made to the course from last year's event.
Absolutely. We have a lot of new features this year. One of my favorite features is, I heard you mention the Corgi race a little earlier. Although we don't have any large Corgi carvings this year, we have a massive Scotty dog carved. Now, Scotty's the nickname of our cross-country course designer, so I thought it was appropriate to give him a big Scotty dog carving. And we found a piece of wood that's on the other side of the property from where I stand now that's more than 8,000 pounds, and I've carved it into a massive 16-foot-long Scotty dog to honor our course designer, Ian Stark, who will be designing his very last course here at Fair Hill.
Now, you have the dressage, you have the cross-country, and you have the show jumping. How, as a designer, do you keep it safe for both the horse and the rider?
Well, these horses, they don't just walk off the street and start competing. These horses are trained. They have been working at this for their entire lives. Unlike race horses who compete at a very young age, 2, 3 years old, some of the horses that you'll find in our field are in excess of 15 years old, and they've been training their entire lives to prepare for this. So they start at the very smallest level with the very, very small jumps with very easy dressage tests, smaller show jumping competitions, and they build their way up just like any other professional athlete to get to this level. So a lot of the safety, a lot of the elegance and the grace and the sophistication that you see out here from these horses and riders, that just didn't happen overnight. That wasn't just bred into them. That's a relationship that these horses and riders have developed over, in some cases, more than a decade.
Now, will we be seeing the crab-inspired jumps or the Oriole bird like they had last year?
Absolutely. We have tons of local flavor. Not only do we have the great big crab fences, this year I've crafted a massive crab mallet that they'll be jumping over. So they'll leap over the mallet, leap over the crab into the water, right in front of a great bar spot for the spectators to enjoy some food, to eat some crabs of their own while you watch these horses hop over these fences. So there's a few familiar faces like the crab, like this big Fair Hill drop that's behind me, the roller coasters that we've seen before. But we've got a lot of new fences, so I'm looking forward to everyone checking that out.
Now, I'm curious, how long does it take for a course designer to complete a course?
Well, Ian Stark, the course designer, I've been working on this course. I've been working on building these fences all year long. I came for my first visit back in January. There was 2 feet of snow on the ground. We did some layout. We measured the distance of the tracks to make sure everything was just right. And then I've been here with Ian for about a week now, placing each fence on course. And when I tell you, we moved some of these fences 5, 6, 7 times so that they are in exactly the right spot, so that the horses get the absolute best opportunity to jump these fences as you possibly can. As you can see, some of these fences, it's no easy feat. They're going to be jumping through this opening here behind me. So it's very, very important that we get it just right. So we've moved this fence a number of times now just to get it in exactly the right location, so these horses have the best opportunity to have a good, safe jump over it.
Well, Tyson, fascinating stuff. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to the event later on this week.
Yep, Saturday is Cross Country Day, October 19th. Do not miss it. We got fun for the whole family. Get out here, bring your kids, bring your dogs, bring your pets of all kinds, and come enjoy the action right here at Fair Hill.
All right, Tyson, thank you. That's Tyson Rementer, who is the course design builder at Fair Hill. Again, MPT's Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill coverage begins on Thursday. Go to mpt.org/Maryland 5-Star for all the details. And we'll be in Cecil County for another edition of the MPT Sports Desk on Sunday. We thank you so much for watching, and for everyone here on our MPT team, I'm Jim Hunter. Have a great night, everybody.
Oh, yeah,